Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Ringru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, in celebration of the new DLC coming out over here for Steel Division 2, we're going to give you a couple of vanilla games. Today on Brest West, Rang, who are we seeing and what are they bringing to the fray?
On left-hand side, in the blue, we have ourselves Prestor John playing as a Trove SS with a Maverick income. Right-hand side in the red, we have Gonzo playing 43rd Reserve Army with a balanced income. And it is been a while since we've casted a vanilla match, Con.
It certainly has. So guys, first things first, now realize that, there's an IL-2 on the map, he will never die, and, yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to go for right there. But what else?
Less patchy icons.
Exactly, that's true. That is certainly true. So guys, we're not going to be worrying too much about the extra stress resistance and received accuracy and updated command structures, but don't worry, we'll be back to more Red Storm soon enough. But we did want to give you a little bit of a look at maybe a couple of the new divisions that you'll be seeing in the near future. Those will come up, I think, later this week. But what's the matchup like here? Hitlerjugend, Reserve Army, what do we expect?
For Hitler, they've got good infantry because Fanatic trait, but the central and northern side are very forestry, which will prove to be a bit difficult. And 43rd, of course, great infantry and pretty good tank support, but definitely lacking a little bit more in the support category. I do like how Prestor John is, well, first off, using a recon plane to spot things, and secondly, his 2-3 push down south is providing pretty damn good fire support until his T-34 comes in to rain on his parade.
But yeah, you know what, that was something I was saying to you even before we kind of went live here. I kind of look at Hitlerjugend as being a discount version of, Panzer Lehr, but I do love seeing that light armor play. We don't ever see enough of it in vanilla, at least not so much in the last few months here. I am curious, though, how do you feel about tossing him up against PTRSs, especially in the north, with his 2-3-1s? One's already down. I feel like that's a bit of a misplay.
Oh yeah, and the northern area is definitely a very scary area to maneuver around light vehicles just because of all the AT rifle play, especially from those PTRSs. And as you can see, Gonzo's doing a pretty good job of pushing through already.
Well, he might not have any L6s on the map here potentially, but, he still has a Panzer Shrek who takes out that leading T-34. KV-1's going to cause a little more of a hassle, especially as the Strafniki and Superior with the Rocks are definitely going to push back the AT support.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, and really at CQC, the Hitlerjugend are going to have a pretty nasty time. Also considering that with the recent patch, they have changed LMGs to work how they worked in Steel Division 44, where at 100 meters, they can no longer shoot. So you'll have some Achikis and 5 Superiors getting in close. We'll have a pretty easy time against Panzer Grenadiers now.
But they haven't upped the suppression that you get from range light MGs, have they? Correct?
I forgot from the patch notes, but maybe.
It would but I mean, it's one of those things that, again, they could go back and forth. Boy Firefly moving in, by the way. I actually find it so fascinating that this is actually on the recon tab of the HJ.
Yeah,
but
historically, the one Boy to Firefly they did capture was attached to the reconnaissance unit of Trove SS, so that's right, it's a recon unit.
I honestly did not know that from the TOE, so that's actually really kind of fascinating. But the thing I was going to bring up, so with the LMGs, I mean, that historically has been the saving grace for a lot of the Axis infantry. How's that going to play really overall? Is it going to be that we're just going to have desperate charges by Soviet infantry to getting close, do you think? Or do you think it could kind of keep the same fight the way that it is right now?
Yeah, in the forest it will be a bit difficult just due to the fact yeah, they do have CQC. I mean, artillery is going to be pretty helpful. I've actually seen quite an unusual amount of artillery for a 1v1 deck from Prestor John with pommels as well as some Rammons to back him up.
Yeah.
Definitely a little bit overkill and expensive for dealing with infantry, but it's really some of his best bet.
Well, and that was the thing I was going to say too, is that he's got to offset that problem, and that problem is huge for him. He's not going to be able to consistently be engaging one-on-one kind of infantry, like you said, especially in the wake of this new change. Yeah. JU-188 continues to just kind of fly high cover. Is this just I know we don't see recon planes being used for much more than area denial as soon as material comes on in. Do you think that there is a good tactical reason behind this, or is it just kind of Prestor being fancy.
I think it's a fantastic idea because, especially on like northern and central position of this map, lots of forest, and recon planes are pretty damn good at spotting infantry in forest. Especially a little bit safer than having to run infantry in the air and then getting blasted by Avtos Strafnikis.
And those guys continue to be deadly. I think this the kind of best thing that's good for the Axis here is that their anti-tank is exceedingly short ranged. So, outside of that, especially the changes, that's a completely different animal to be dealing with.
Yeah, down south we are seeing a bit of a resurgence here from Gonzo, taking out 233s. There's only 2 guys and a single flamethrower to stop him.
And a P4.
As well as a P4. It's got a pretty good kill in it as well, off to the side stage, and damn. There he goes, Superi going to be capping that flag and bringing it back to a trove. It's been pretty back and forth in terms of flags.
It has, though Prestor John has certainly taken a minimal lead here. Now, I'm not suggesting this is something I would definitely want to see them implement, but it'd be kind of fascinating if you have a guy doing, the kind of close combat, that hand-to-hand kind of fighting. They're still taking fire from both sides. I almost want to see both sides get stressed out, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just me, nitpicking over here. We do have the boy to Firefly is panicked, and the SPW over here is in was in a good ambushing spot. Unfortunately, was not able to capitalize on that.
I'm just seeing a horde of Hitler's Panzer Grenadiers being thrown into the forest. Fortunately, not as much scary Russian infantry, but that's because they're flanking down south onto the hill position here. Those Avtos Strafnikis at close range will be pretty scary. And they too also have the fanatical trait, so this is just a match of fans, Khan.
Well, and that's what you want to see. You love it when the fans come out to play. I mean, they take no prisoners. They're very, very passionate about what they do. So, I think it's a good thing sometimes.
I mean, they're willing to die for their cause or product.
Exactly. They're kind of like football fans in that. And I mean true football fans, not American ones. We are seeing the boy to Firefly, which is getting a little bit frisky, trying to go after T-34-85. I think he's going to be more well entertained by T-34-76. And T-34-76 with that veterancy bonus, going to get off the first shot? No. Oh no, and the bounce is happening here as well. So T-34 might go to meet the Supreme Soviet in a second. He does. Boy to Firefly's been rather deadly.
Yeah, he hasn't died yet, which is quite shocking, I find. Especially in that close quarters environment. But, 17-pounder is pretty damn good.
He's been shocked. He's been panicked. I mean, he's had a lot of stuff going on there. But, yeah, absolutely true. Along the center line, we shouldn't expect to see too much action. We have the ridgelines really on both sides. Well, heavy force in the east, ridgelines on the west. It's a devil of trying to get through these areas. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more action going across the southern side. You can see right now we have 2 pioneers, Hitler Jugend, going after a Strafniki, a Rox, and a PTRS. They're about to get bombed here, so probably it's a big reason they're not going to be able to aggress too much. But all the same, I'm surprised we don't see more action through here, even with the bridges. Well, the southern central area,
Yeah, the center is a pretty hard area to push, especially for Gonzo, just due to the fact that it's a pretty poorly designed map, because if you see on Prestor John's side, on his central position, he has this lovely high ground hill defense, while Gonzo has nothing really comparable on his flank as well. So, you're fighting an uphill battle if you do push across the central position of this map, for Gonzo, that is.
And I mean, you could make the case though too that Gonzo does have ridgelines along the center side. Just don't extend as furthest north. I don't know. I realize, of course, right here I am certainly nitpicking. I'm trying to see this map in the best light, but I'm pretty sure you're right that it's still pretty. That's a shit map.
Yeah. Gonzo down south is all about gunned in the tank department. We got 1 T-34 trying to fight off 4 Panzer IVs. He does have that lovely high ground position, providing a bit of fire support. But the main thing is Gonzo still holds that flag as superior. But at the same time, he's still losing just because of his northern push from the Panzer Grenadiers is going pretty swimmingly here for Prestor.
It certainly seems to be. Now, unfortunately, he did move that recon plane away just before the ZIS-3 came out, and the ZIS-3 is, well, he's sending some nice iron cigars down the rear of those P4s, and he can penetrate. Oh, baby, he can penetrate. And with the 85 as well, that's not a position you want to be attacking with what are admittedly are rather substandard equipment at this point.
Yeah, just in that position, that's a pretty good defense here if Gonzo does knock out one of the Panzer IVs, so will be enough to just keep the southern side from flipping over to the German territory.
Do want to make a quick call out to the north. We have this Motorrazvedka with the M3A1. Hitlerjugend is definitely going to get picked off here and forced to a surrender. Oh no, never mind. I was going to say forced to surrender, but you just remembered fanatic trait.
Yep.
Unfortunately, he's not going to retreat at all either, which is kind of a problem. But hey, I mean, only fascista, who knows what you'd be thinking. Point of Firefly continues to survive. Strafniki books it off the hill. Probably a good idea coming behind the Pgrens. Cause some hassles there. Su-122 also here. Now, it feels like it's been a while since we've seen one of these.
Yeah, you don't see them all too often. You're also seeing the Su-152. They're not the core ISU models with the better version of the guns, but, you know, a 122mm gun is still pretty damn effective, Khan.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it in the same zip code, it was kind of hard to hate on that.
Yeah. And he's going to be firing against Firefly. Does have the potential to penetrate if he can hit, but well, the SUs don't have the best renown in terms of accuracy.
No, they don't. Which is, again, why there's so much more as assault guns and not trying to hit anything greater than an entire horde of mosquitoes. We have a bit of a tentative shift in the territory along the central line. With the Strafniki falling back, it has allowed Prestor John to really solidify his hold on the western side of the map and to really potentially shift a little bit further east as well. Of course, Strafniki is going to be interesting right here.
Oh yeah, the behind enemy lines here can try to flank the Panzer Grenadiers, so these guys also don't have the best CQC equipment, but they do outnumber the SMGs at least, and numbers, which is what really matters in these sorts of fights.
Of course, now they're being flanked and we have a 2-to-1 kind of thing, so I mean, yes, there's only one MP40, there's in each one of those squads, yes, oh no, and he's firing the wrong direction now too, so yep, this is going to be, I think, a resumption of Soviet control in this area, unless something incredibly unlucky happens.
Yeah. We still have a lot of Panzer Grenadiers in the forest, and yeah, if Gonzo can get some more, well, CQC troops, he's mainly just getting more regular, well, Strafniki officers to try to fight through, so it does give Prestor John a pretty good chance. There are long range, of course, those Panzer Grenadiers are pretty nasty, as we're seeing. If he can keep the fight at that range before the infantry can get into the forest, he'd be in a pretty good position.
If. Oof. Su-152 wipes one of those squads off the map. Look a little further south, Focke-Wulf comes in at that town and obliterates the Superi. So very, very lucky right there. And actually with a P-Grunt as well, so if he can get out, this is going to be... Oh, geez, that was very unlucky. Had he got that infantry squad out before he died, that could have been devastating to the Soviet chances.
Yeah, but he is still going to capture that flag along the central position. And it is a pretty easy flag to hold, as once you just hold the edge of the town, it's a narrow bridge, choke point which the enemy has to cross over.
You know, the one thing I kind of failed to acknowledge here is that the Hitlerjugend only has P-Shreks and what amounts to basically, you know, AFVs to really be anti-tank. And that's kind of a problem, I would argue. IS-2s, and, you know, we have, like you said, all the assault guns out the wazoo. I don't know, I always feel more comfortable, even if the anti-tank guns, to have a couple of actual placements more than anything else.
Oh yeah, you don't really have that much in terms of actual anti-tank for the trophy test. Of course, also the same thing for 43rd, really only one card of PTRSs and ZIS-3s for their anti-tank department, so it's really going to come to more straight tank-on-tank play between Tigers, Panthers, T-3045s and IS-2s, which is still pretty, you know, still more than enough anti-tank firepower for a regular division, I would say.
Oh, absolutely, but it's just still not a particular engagement I want to be having.
yeah, you do lose out a little bit of ambush. So, speaking of Tigers, we are seeing Mr. Whitman being brought into the field, so... Want to give him 5 minutes, Khan, before he dies?
I'm starting that timer right now. I was going to ask you the same thing, how you feel about Messer Whitman kind of moving on in here. It is 15-9, though, so maybe if the flags fall as they may, 5 minutes might be long enough for him to survive. Of course.
Yeah, Gonzo is getting pushed back pretty hard, but he is starting to recapture some of these important flag positions, doing a good counterattack along the central bridge into the town to stop any major defenses being set up, as Prestor reinforcements are going to come a little bit too late.
Well, and the hero Firefly goes down. I think Whitman's going to go in and fill that position. Probably a good idea there. And let's recognize something here too, ladies and gentlemen. Gonzo is still rocking a balanced income. He's only going to get stronger.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it. That is going to be pretty huge once we hit C phase. That's double the points he's going to have.
You just still have Red Storm brain going on right there, where the income is made up and the phases don't matter. Like that's every which way except the way that we know and love here.
Is it phase A, phase B, phase C? Maybe it's phase D. Who knows?
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, well, how do we know what phase we're in? Well, he doesn't get Panthers until C. Okay, we're in C. Good.
Yeah.
Of a Vitman coming in, we have that JU-188 continues to just fly high cover. I have not thought that I would appreciate this as much as I am now.
Yeah, I mean, all the anti-air is being brought out, does get killed, but it hasn't been a whole lot of anti-air. I mean, Gonzo's anti-air tab is just heavy 85mm guns, which is pretty decent, but they do require a good direct hit to actually, do anything.
Yep. And while it seems to be the Soviets have picked up their cause over here back for that town, they continue to kind of lag badly everywhere else. We're looking down to the south. The first IS-2 is coming on, and this is going to be scary. But we do have a limited counterattack, as a Tiger is also here to start pushing east and maybe potentially taking that flag back? I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like Prestor John is just trying to squeeze out as many as he can in B phase before income really starts to bite him in the ass, as well as a platoon of Panzer Grenadiers to come up north.
Well, right now, anti-tank gun after anti-tank gun gets taken out. And like you said before, there are not that many of them.
Nope, there's really not a whole lot. And that's, even though they're not the most powerful anti-tank guns are always nice to have just because of their ambush capability, especially compared to, T-34s and IS-2s, which aren't all that stealthy. You kind of see them coming a mile away.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to hide a 50-ton, MBT, so... And one thing I failed to realize, that Strafniki, while terrible, need to be in cover to be truly terrifying.
Yeah. So they do have that large HP pool, so you can...
afford to screw up a couple of times.
Yeah, afford to screw up as well as slowing down actual enemy advancements. And heck, maybe they'll run out of ammo before they kill you.
You want to check out that reinforcement half-track column? We have one moving north, the other three moving south. Rather optimistic reinforcement point, especially with an SU-152, the 85mm, T-34.
Oh.
I'm not sure I really think that's a great idea. I applaud the tenacity, but I don't think that's a great result that's going to happen here.
I feel like he'll make it. Like, up north, the SU-152 is not in a great position to shoot down the road. And the three moving along, the central area will probably get sniped by the T-34, but maybe he'll unload in time before he loses it entirely.
I forgot. I forgot. You and I come up with this in two different ways. I want the little digital monkeys to survive, and here you are. You're like, bring me death. Skulls for the skull throne. Will comes down south and actually takes out a T-34-85 with bombs. So maybe a little bit of Red Storm is bleeding on over here into vanilla and giving us some nice little kind of cherry syrup here.
There you go.
Meanwhile, P4 and a Tiger engage another one of those dual-purpose 85mm, and while it is going to cost them a damaged transmission, that anti-aircraft gun is going to get picked off nice and slowly here.
Yep, pretty good fire support is going to be enough, but with that IS-2 coming in That proved to be a pretty tough customer against that Tiger tank.
But there was supposed to be another one that came in here a long time ago, so that was... I wonder if he died.
The one down south?
Yeah,
I think that was the one that did get brought up. It's just really slow.
Oh my gosh, it feels like it was forever and a day. By the way, we are actually crossing 5 minutes, and Michael Wittman has somehow managed to survive. Wow. Of course, I think it's because he hasn't engaged anybody either, the coward. Except for this Strafniki, who is just perfectly in his beaten zone, almost 2k away. So.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, Prestor John is in a pretty good position on that hill with that Tiger tank, and once again, really showcasing just kind of the imbalance of this map. That hill just gives you such good firing lines down his entire center and northern positions.
I will certainly exceed that stipulation there. Do you want to make a quick call out that 2 of those half tracks made it? Which is way more than I thought it was going to make it. The T-3485 over here did go down. You can see his burning husk over here in the middle of the road. And with that, this northern flank starts to look a little bit shaky.
Yeah, he's pretty close and capping out one flag of his Panzer Grenadiers and caking that area. But the main thing is there's still a nasty blob of Russian infantry just to the central south position. Tankadesinikis and the Strafnikis. Prestor John's going to have to try and clear them out eventually because they do pose to be a threat to his flanks.
Certainly would seem to be the case. SU-122 goes down up to the north. And while we have Automachiki kind of prowling around the back lines here, to limited effect as of right now, there are not a whole lot of Russians between them and Minsk over here. And it looks like the Russians you spoke of have made an unfortunate decision to pull out before they should have.
Yeah, also Gonzo is moving up IS-2 down south. I think a little bit too close. You really want to keep it at the... Does it have 2 kilometer range? Yes, it does. 2 kilometer range. To try and engage the Tiger, yeah, because the Tiger, you just have better survivability chances.
Oh, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the Panther G as well, which I think will be the killing blow here.
He's got eyes on it?
It can hit.
Yeah, he does.
It's got the high ground.
If he can hit from there, that is a beautiful shot, but nothing yet. And loader killed. That is not what you want to be seeing when you're... Yeah, there you go.
The battle of the heavy armor.
Yeah, and really trying to be a battle of sniper from that Panther. I feel like, yeah, he's tossing away the 250 on an off chance he can kind of go and distract, I believe. Maybe force a bit of stress on him. And he might get the stress in time. Yeah, wow, that was... But the Tiger goes down to the KV-1.
Wow. What?
We are in bizarro world, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, we have Laff kind of making a couple of runs over here in the central position. German infantry is cut off, but even though they are cut off, they are not down and out, forcing the Soviets to kind of go and pay at least their cost in ammo. And another Focke-Wulf's coming back in. He's going after that IS-2. Might have been a critical... Yeah, I was going to say, it might have been a critical amount of firepower coming in just from that 85 mil, forcing the less than optimal run there.
Yeah, the bombs dropped a little bit short in front, but the IS-2 does go down to the Panther, and the Panther is really the only substantial unit left down south. Gonna be enough to capture the flank at least. Fortunately, those Tankadesinikis aren't scary anti-tank troops, because this is a ballsy maneuver moving up the Panther here without infantry or recon support.
And you watch it pay for that. I was actually kind of waiting to see the Tankadesinikis jump out when he gets stressed out by this anti-aircraft gun.
Yeah.
Which will happen, like, mark my words.
You always lose heavy tanks in the silliest ways in this game.
Oh, absolutely. We do have a recon platoon moving on in of those, was it 250s? Yeah, SDKF said 259s. And with the long-range play, transmission damaged. Yeah, I'm really surprised there hasn't been a kill already. That Panther G, while it has very thick skin, it's not a whole lot to really kind of hold back against that. I would have
Yeah,
liked to
he's
see the
trying
Ju
his
188 to strafe. I'm sorry.
He's trying his best, but however, his transmission damage is going to be a little bit slow. But I think with the recon armored cars coming in, he should be able to start mopping up the southern side. But still looking really good for Prestor. Even though he is down on income by half, he's got a 15-9, and there's only 5 minutes he needs if he keeps it up at the +2 to take the W.
Yeah, and what's more than that, too, if you look to the north, there is going to be a series of M3A1s moving on in. You know, Ma Deuces are nothing to sneeze at. But of course, the biggest issue is the fact that we have all those Tanko Desantnikis. If they can get to the front line, if they can get down that first ridge, things could get ugly, and they could get ugly fast.
It really could. At the same time, Prestor John's making that push once again of a Panzer Grenadier platoon onto the southern central town. And I think, well, yeah, with the half-track support, extra machine guns if he unloads early and not just runs into...
He's not going to.
No, he's not going to.
That's not his way.
Or maybe? There we go. Gets one infantry squad, and Tanko's actually not even going to want to engage. Going to be falling back a bit.
Which is weird. I mean, even if you have to take it hand-to-hand, I would rather have the PP Shahs against the Pigrens.
Yeah. Maybe he's scared of the half-track.
To the north, by the way, Michael Wittman is still alive, but his gun is rather jammed right now. I think he took a round off the T-34-85. He's pulling back, and yep, there's an open blitz over here, but we're not going to see any of it for the time being.
No. Is this Wittman going to survive the entire match? I'm going to be extremely disappointed if he does.
I would talk about that, but I'm too busy watching this death-defying town assault over here with the one squad to Ostrovniki and take on Desantniki. There's a base of fire that needs to be set, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it. Ooh, no, but with the recon stuff in here, this could bear fruit. This is interesting.
Yeah, he's like kind of surrounding the town here with his half-track support before, like, he's like choking off like a siege.
I think that's what needs to happen, though, too. I mean, if you look to the northern side as well, we see that the Soviets have gone and boiled out around, basically, picking up as many flags as they can. But the southern flank is completely collapsed. We wouldn't even pay attention to it, but a couple of squads went down, and it's just recon tracks for days.
Yeah, there's nothing there anymore. I mean, the one Panther is in a good position for field of fire. We are seeing Gonzo bringing in reinforcements, but that Panther's in a really good spot, and if that comes down the hill, we'll get sniped by that rather long and deadly 75mm gun.
And I think that will be not all she wrote, but we're definitely seeing, I think, the swan song of the Soviet.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing Prestor John flank around to the 250/9, Manson the captain after Machiki squad. And even though Gonzo did a nice little push up north here, it's really just a... It's not much of a substantial push.
Can we just go quick? Look to the south, we have this ambush coming out. 2 Machiki squads come out, and it's like, light attack! And they're gonna cut to pieces. This is an execution.
Yeah.
What brave, damned fools those guys are. Jeez. The Yak's gonna come in and punish them, and it might even... Oh no, he lost vision. Oh no.
What a shame.
Yeah. But I'm surprised. I always assume that the squad or the division over here that has more infantry will reign supreme, especially when they're so heavily Strafniki'd. But that didn't seem to be occurring. What the heck happened?
I think just Prestor John with his all the half tracks and armor managed to win out those important engagements. He also did a pretty good job of just kind of pushing all over the place. And of course, I think it would be unfair not to mention just the map imbalance, because this is one of those maps where it can be pretty difficult to play if you do start on the right hand side here from Gonzo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just really good light vehicle play, and just, I mean, having pretty much all your baseline troops be fanatical is pretty damn nice.
Well, that is certainly one way to kind of stave off any kind of mass surrenders that we do see from usual kind of Axis Soviet matchups. I'm continuing to kind of dance around as we have half tracks picking up the odd T-34 here or there. Yes, they pay for it as well, but I really continue to say I wish we saw more light vehicle selection and play rather, inside the recon tabs, heck, even in kind of support tabs as well.
Yeah, Trophy Sets does have a pretty nice recon tab. Got all those light vehicles, and of course the Boiter Firefly.
Oh, he was a hero today.
Yeah, he did like a pretty damn good job. I do like how up north got his run IS-2 going balls to the rule aggression here, close range. It was going to take him forever and a day to lay onto target. And he misses, of course, because it's an IS-2.
And there's a couple of P4s trying to engage him from range. Not sure that's really going to do a whole lot for him. But as we take down the last couple of seconds here, yes, the map plays a part of it. Honestly, both guys certainly were quite aggressive. I think it's one of the rare occasions that Maverick really succeeded, though, too.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised Gonzo didn't manage to pull it back with that balanced income, but Prestor John just kept enough of aggression on Gonzo and did a good job in B phase and, just pushing and attacking.
The KD certainly bears that out, that's for sure.
Oh wow, that's really close. That's really damn close.
We've got an 85 over here with a few light kills. Yeah, a lot of these guys are picking up their fair share of light kills. You have an SU-152 picking up, basically just absolutely bitch slapping the infantry. IS-2 getting 3 kills. I guess at the end of the day, I didn't want to go and just say it was purely terrain, because I thought that for the longest time, terrain was being played rather well by Gonzo. But a Firefly's got a nice, was a 5 or 6 pack right there. But yeah, just looking at the way this is working out here, I am very surprised and pleased to see both players play so well.
Yeah, they're both very top-of-the-line players from Steel Division, so kind of what we expect from people of their caliber. And also, Britain survived.
I was going to say that, but I was actually going to say also, the players of the caliber, are we talking 105s? What caliber are we talking about here?
I prefer 152, personally. I really want to make sure whatever I'm shooting is dead, and not to be identified afterwards.
That certainly would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Perfect murder rep.
But
you just have to hold around a 152mm artillery gun.
I am suddenly very nervous to make you angry, sir. Of course, folks, this is from the same man who told me this past weekend I should go over Niagara Falls in a barrel and cross international lines and cause an incident so I can see his old red-haired face. So
people have done it before.
People have done it before. Well,
that was back in the 1800s. Think about the barrel technology today, Khan.
Trust me, you said that to me, and I was planning the entire thing out. So
I was on the other side. I was gonna clap you as you fall down. I mean, sail down, barrel down.
Well, folks, before we get into Blackadder levels of planning here, come back on Thursdays to kind of get to show off one of the new divisions coming out with the DLC from this past week. Until that time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.